So the biggest question I had about university study was how to balance a part-time job along with studies. For me, I also have quite a big social life and I enjoy the gym and do sport as well. I was keen to make sure I could balance all this alongside my studies. I think it's important to have a diary to keep track of everything you're meant to be doing and where you're meant to be. I had a bar job in first year, so that was involved late nights, so I had to make sure I got enough time to rest as well. But this year I've been working for the university, which is great because the hours are flexible.
The biggest question I had about study at university was probably about how to balance independent study with the rest of the life that you're having at university. This could include things like part-time jobs. Personally, I do have a part-time job and I've always managed to balance it alongside study. Medicine can be quite intensive. You've got a lot of independent study, a lot of asynchronous work and pre-work, things that you have to do in preparation for lectures and seminars. But I've always found that working part-time along with my studies hasn't been too much of an issue.
The biggest question I had about university study was the change in academics. University students are expected to put in a lot more hours of independent study compared to school students. This is a transition that most students experience, and while it is intimidating in the beginning, personally I can say that it does get better with time.
The biggest question I had about university study was how big of a step up it would be. Studying my A-levels was very hard, but I thought the support I received from my teachers was very important for me to achieve the grades that I wanted. However, I was well aware that at university there was a lot more independent studying required, and this did feel quite daunting. However, having been studying at Newcastle for over 5 months now, I can confidently say that I've settled into study life quite well. The topics have been gradually introduced to us without an overloading amount of information, and all lectures are recorded so you can go over them in your own time if there's anything you missed or are unsure about. Additionally, we all have personal tutors assigned to us, and so we can go to them if we have any problems about a particular topic or the course in general.
So the biggest question I had about university study was the uncertainties regarding the academic leap and the structure of university studies from high school. And so I had so many questions about, say, the difficulty levels, the disparity between the two educational systems, and the amount of independent study required, and the flexible nature of university schedules, unlike the fixed ones we had in high school. So when I started university, I discovered that university is actually built upon foundational knowledge. It starts with basic concepts and then eventually progress into more advanced topics.
The biggest question I had about university study was how I was gonna study for university. I think this is a very difficult question, and I think even at third year, it's so hard to stick to one method and thinking this is the right for you. The university offers a lot of tools for students that want to improve their academic skills, such as writing or revising methods, and they have a lot of information in the library's website about the academic skills set, and that really helped me at first year because you're not very sure what is the best way to tackle an exam. Figuring out what the best technique for you, it's just something of trial and error, and what might work for your friends maybe doesn't work for you.
The biggest question I had about university study was how content heavy my course would be and if I would remember how to take lecture notes. So I had this concern because despite having completed a previous degree, it was a while ago, so I didn't know if I'd remember how to take lecture notes. And also dental therapy I knew was going to be a completely different ballgame. So one way I addressed these concerns was by talking to current students. So I asked them if their workload was manageable and how they managed their workload. So current students told me that they use an app called Quizlet to break down all the information that they needed to learn into small chunks that were easily accessible at any time. And they also said they made use of group study sessions. So as a current student, I've implemented both of these strategies. I used to be someone who worked independently, but at university I find the value of working with others.